What up, world? I am Brian Rashad, and this is Way Down South, my dedication to Southern hip hop and the culture and history of Southern hip hop. For the last couple of years, I've been toying around with the idea of starting a podcast of some sort, and for whatever reason, people like hearing my perspectives on certain shit, and I've been told at least 15 times, "Hey, man, you should start a podcast." So, um, been kind of toying around with the idea, doing a whole lot of brainstorming and experimentation. And I finally decided, to pick something I'm very knowledgeable in, and that's Southern hip hop. Being from the South, born and raised, living in Atlanta the last 20 years, seeing the South, go from the underdogs to being where they at now. Thought it'd be the perfect niche or niche, however you say that, for me to kind of get in. So while in the planning phases to begin this podcast, wouldn't you know it, Funk Master Flex comes out, says some wild shit that I felt like I needed to address because, you know, in my opinion, it was erroneous, it was subjective, and it was low key disrespectful, not only to T.I., but people like me that like Southern hip hop. And I said I was gonna wait until I heard the whole rant to give my rebuttal, but I listened to like a minute and a half of it. I heard all I needed to hear. So let's take this shit from the top. The whole Crime Stoppers thing, man, I ain't gonna defend that. I'm not gonna speak on that. The only thing I'll say is if T.I. really snitched, it's some paperwork, it's some type of documentation out there that's accessible to the public, that will say he cooperated. So, that's that. I'm not gonna get into the Crime Stoppers thing, that's some other shit. But then you said T.I. does not have an album comparable to 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying. My dude, that's subjective. Now, as good as an album as that was, one of the highest selling albums of all time, classic album, I loved it, not taking anything away from it. But if I was put on a remote island and they said, "Hey, you either Get Rich or Die Trying or I'm Serious, which one are you taking?" I would, not even a second thought, bro, I'd take I'm Serious and wouldn't think twice about it. You said that he has no records that can stand up to Busta Rhymes, and that's why he ran from the verses. I think that's subjective as well. I mean, Busta is a rap god. We love Busta down south. Very innovative. Has a new album on the way. It's probably gonna be dope. But I'm gonna be honest, bro. Down south, compared to T.I., like, there's no comparison, bro. There's no comparison. We don't even Busta Rhymes, T.I. That's just facts. No disrespect to Buster. You know what I'm saying? The same thing can be said in New York. Maybe it's the reverse. Ain't no problem with that. But what I'm saying is that's subjective. And you say he ran from the versus battle because of that. Bro, that versus would have not made sense. Two different styles, two different subgenres of hip hop. We ain't want to see that shit, bro. We ain't want to see that shit. We want to see Busta Rhymes in a versus, but we want to see someone who's comparable to the body of work of Busta Rhymes. T.I. ain't it. You know what I'm saying? It's not that we saying T.I. is lyrically better than Busta or whatever. That shit don't match, bro. We don't want to see that shit. Nobody want to see that shit. So that's that. And then you said T.I. is not the king of the South. Let me tell you something. We acknowledge T.I. is the king of the South, and I'm going to tell you why. The first time I heard T.I. rap, it was on a song called Two Glock 9s featuring Beanie Siegel. And it was on the Shaft soundtrack. And as soon as the shit come on, you hear this little dude say, "T.I.P., king of the South, shouty." And I remember when I first heard that, we was like, bro, who the fuck is this nigga? Like, bro, he ain't heard of Scarface? He ain't heard of Outkast, bro. Like, at that point in time, we would have gave the shit to Trick Daddy before we gave it to T.I. We would have gave it to Juvenile before we gave it to T.I. But the reason we acknowledge him is because he said the shit, we doubted it, and then I'm Serious came out, and we was like, God damn. Like, ooh, and then trap music came out. And then Urban Legend came out, and all that shit was dope. And then his fourth album came Bro was on top of the rap world. King came out. It was a popular album. The ATL movie came out at the same time. Dude was literally on the top of the game. Y'all remember that shit? The only thing that stopped it was that shit he had with the police and the guns and the feds and all that shit. If it wasn't for that, he probably would have went up another notch. But we saw the man claim the shit and persevere through all that and actually earn the title. And here's another thing. Nobody challenged him from the crown. Nobody. Ain't nobody want to go up against that boy for the crown. And to the people that mattered, like Scarface and Big Boy of Outkast, and there may be a few others, you've heard T.I. tell the story. I went to Big Boy and say, hey, man, what do you think about me calling myself the king of the South? And Big Boy was not offended by that. Big Boy told him straight up, like, you worthy of that shit. Run with it. Just know you're going to have a target on your back. Niggas going to come for you. And he told Scarface the same thing. And Scarface, you know, he responded in you know, somewhat of a similar way as Big Boy. So getting that acknowledgement from the Southern OGs and staying down and persevering into where you are actually now at the top, not just the top of the South, but the top of the rap game. We acknowledge T.I. as the king of the South. T.I. ain't even my favorite rapper from the South. He's definitely in my top 5, period. But, you know, personally, I like Jeezy more than I like T.I. I like Rick Ross more than I like T.I. But I still acknowledge T.I. as the king. I mean, if he's not the king of the South, who is? Even now, where his influence has died down a tad, and I heard Libra's a hard ass album. I hadn't heard Libra yet, but has anyone, even people as popular as Lil Baby, like, can we give that to him? As dope as Lil Baby is, can we call him the king of the South? And he never said who wants the title? Ain't nobody stepped up to get the title. So if T.I. ain't the king, who's the king? And then you want to say his catalog doesn't match up to Wayne's, Ludacris, Rick Ross, or 2 Chainz. Let's be clear. Everybody that I just named, maybe with the exception of Ludacris and maybe Rick Ross, look up to T.I. and has expressed that in one way or the other. And T.I., you know, I think it's debatable if he is the founder of trap music, and I'll make another, you know, video or podcast about that. But in terms of like Southern gangster rap and talking about, you know, the trap shit in general, T.I. bust that, bro. Atlanta in the South was all crunk music before T.I. came out. And then it was like other niggas was seeing, oh shit, he talking about the gangster shit that we got going on down here. Shit, maybe it's cool for me to talk about it. I mean, don't get me wrong. You had other groups down here talking about it. And making what I would call gangster rap. But in terms of mainstream Atlanta, like T.I. was that guy. So when you say shit like that, like he can't compare to Wayne's catalog and 2 Chainz catalog, like people down south looking at you crazy, bro. Like, and that's the thing, like us from down south, we don't never try to, I mean, we have our personal opinions, but we never try to tell y'all like why Jay-Z is better than Nas, or why Nas is better than Jay-Z, or why Big L is bigger than this person, or was bigger than this person. We don't go out west and say, oh, here's why Snoop is the king of the West Coast compared to the Game and Dr. We don't do that. Why y'all come down south and try to tell us what the fuck going on down here? Like, how you gonna tell us who the king is? How you gonna tell us who we hold up, where we hold up? You sound crazy. And then you had the nerve to say the East Coast made T.I. and that T.I. went shit into Swiss Beats made Bring 'Em Out, and it had that Jay-Z hook. Newsflash, bro, we don't even like Bring 'Em Out down south. I ain't never been in the club in Atlanta and heard Bring 'Em Out come on. Never. We don't like, bro, we don't even like that song. We don't like that song. Maybe that was y'all's introduction to T.I., but T.I. been this shit down here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Well, Bring 'Em Out was Urban Legend. That was his 3rd album. He had 2 other popular ass albums down south prior to that. You want to say 24s was trash, nigga? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Bro, do you know how hard that song went down south? And let's not be crazy. A lot of people not gonna like what I'm about to say. I've been in Atlanta the last 20 years of my life. All I'm gonna say is I've never seen a rapper pop. I don't care where he was from. If his shit went or her shit was not playing on the radio in Atlanta, I ain't seen a motherfucker pop yet. So 24s was the shit in Atlanta. It was the shit down south, period. Know what I'm saying? I don't know what the fuck was going on in New York, but we don't even bring them out like that. Like every time I'm listening to Urban Legend, I skip bring them out every time. And then I guess the last thing I'll address is you said that Gucci and Jeezy have so much more over T.I. Now, I will say, I don't think that T.I. is the creator of trap music, right? I don't. Not saying I fuck with T.I. I love T.I., but I don't think he's the creator of trap music. But he did open the door for trap music to be created. And so when you want to bring up Jeezy and Gucci, one thing I will say is without T.I., bro, they probably would have not have been a Jeezy or a Gucci. And I think T.I. and Jeezy's catalog, it ain't really debatable. Personally, I like listening to Jeezy more, but let's be serious. Jeezy ain't gonna win that versus. He doesn't have enough to respond. He can't. How does Jeezy respond to you can have whatever you like? He can't. You know what I'm saying? Like it's better than the fucking Busta Rhymes T.I. idea. It's more comparable than that, but T.I. still gonna pull this one off. You know what I'm saying? But I guess what I'm trying to say is there would be no Jeezy or no Gucci without T.I. When you tell a motherfucker from the South that T.I.'s catalog doesn't even match up with Gucci's, bro, we looking at you crazy. As much as we love Gucci, as many classic mixtapes as Gucci has, as many songs rock on the radio in the club from Gucci, when you say, the fuck, y'all seen that? Am I fucking trip? Bro, I just seen some shit fall. Anyway, yeah, when you say shit like that, bro, you sound crazy. So I'm gonna end it on this, man. One of the main reasons I'm starting this podcast is it's just, you know, the culture and the history of Southern hip hop is just so rich, and you know, I don't think the culture and the music itself gets as much credit as it should. But here we have an elite DJ from New York. Shouts out to him. I ain't taking that from him. But there's kind of like this arrogance of trying to tell the South like what's relevant in the South. You can't do that, bro. You sound crazy. So to anybody that heard that rant, I know up in New York, y'all probably like, damn, why he went in on T.I. like that, bro? That shit sounded crazy to niggas down south. For real. We don't even like Bring 'Em Out. We don't even like that song. And when Bring 'Em Out came out, T.I. had been the shit down here. So, like I said, man, podcast on the way. You can check out the Instagram page, check out the Twitter page. I'll put the handles and all that shit down in the description. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate y'all checking me out. Once again, Brian Rashad, way down south. We out. Y'all be cool.